What's up, everybody? Tonight we're going to talk about Danny Garcia's farewell fight and P3 of Cincinnati, Ohio, when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and tonight we're going to talk about all things boxing, man. Boxing is going down lately. Um, some people have opinions about certain stuff they don't like, but in the words of Cam J, let's talk about the things we enjoy, which are the fights that are actually going to happen versus the fights or certain matches that are not happening in the moment. But let's talk about the fights that we have coming up. So shout outs to Cam J. Read the Room. Shout outs to Jab Queen Boxing. Shout outs to my guy Marcus from Youngstown, Ohio, better known as Ohio Runs Boxing. Finally got to meet him at the fight here in Cincinnati when they put on for young P3 Dyson. And P3's opponent was from Pennsylvania. He went by the name of Hellcat. It was a very technical fight for these two young men. P3 was picking his shots, landing the cleaner shots, especially in that third round. In the end, the decision win went to P3, winner by decision. So shout outs to P3 and shout out to your pops, P30, Cuzzo, y'all fam, because we have mutual cousins, so it's all family. And shout outs to everybody in the Zone 15 for sure. So let's talk about the farewell fight of Danny Garcia last night. Danny Garcia had his farewell fight at the Barclays in Brooklyn, New York. Danny Garcia is hailing from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And he's a guy I like. I like him. One of my favorite fights with Danny Garcia was when he fought Keith one-time Thurman in a fight that was a close fight. It was definitely the type of fight that I would love to have seen a rematch. So actually, the fight that he had yesterday, I would have rather seen him fighting Keith Thurman as his farewell fight versus fighting Daniel Gonzalez, whom I wasn't privy to until last night. Well, the fight went as most people probably expected. Daniel Garcia was a smaller guy, even though he was very much in shape, impeccable physical shape. Danny Garcia was a bigger guy, and Danny Garcia, he knows those veteran moves. He's been around. He has a pretty good pedigree. He has a good pedigree, and he has a pretty good resume. So he's kind of been seasoned with the level of opposition he's faced. So he was definitely the more seasoned guy between the two fighters. In round 2, we witnessed Garcia hurt Gonzalez. And then in round 4, you could see Danny Garcia was trying to line up Daniel Gonzalez with that left hook, because Gonzalez was able to duck and slip the left hook the first time in round 4. But not too soon after that, Danny Garcia went for that same exact punch, and it hit his mark. And down goes Daniel Gonzalez. So Danny Garcia had a knockout in the beginning of the 4th round of his farewell fight. So big ups to him. Had a good career. He's a likable guy. And maybe he'll do an exhibition in the future, or maybe he'll train fighters or whatever, or be a commentator. Um, but I'm happy to see him leave the sport with all his faculties intact. And, even though like his dad showed a lot of emotion because that's all they ever known was for him to be a fighter. But at some point, it's good to know when to retire versus a person who fights so far beyond their prime and they're still out here fighting in the ages of 40 and the ages of 45. Nah. He stopped at a good point, and he's done all he could really do in the sport of boxing. He has nothing really to prove. He was a solid guy. So respects and shout outs to Danny Swift Garcia. So let's jump over into next Saturday, right? So next Saturday we're gonna have Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley. Heavyweight showdown clash. I definitely like Joseph Parker because he's what I call a true throwback fighter. He doesn't duck anybody. He'll fight anybody. He's normally not the bigger fighter in the ring when he's fighting, at least from the standpoint of height. He's normally giving up reach to his opponent. They're normally taller than him, bigger than him, but he finds that warrior spirit deep down in him to where even when he's dropped by a big puncher like Zilly Zhang, where he's dropped twice, he gets back up. The only time we ever seen him knocked out was with Joe Joyce. Now, whether it's true or not, they say that Joseph Parker, he wasn't 100% basically. That he might have been sick or under the weather or something. But other than that, one thing we do know about him, Joseph Parker is a throwback fighter for one. He doesn't have quit on his mind, so he's never going to just give up in a fight. He's going to fight to the end. So with Fabio Wardley, we do understand he's the taller guy, the younger guy, the more youthful guy. But he's not as seasoned, and he doesn't have the all-around skills or intangibles like Joseph Parker has. I could definitely see Joseph Parker moving around the ring, using his angles, being a smarter guy, and just being real smart not to let Fabio Wardley land that kill shot, what we call the kill shot, the shot that's gonna knock you out. Now, just like in the Zhang fight or in the Joe Joyce fight, he has to be very, very careful. And what I feel, he should definitely, fill him out the first round, move around. But Joseph Parker actually has, I think, deceptive power, and he has more punch power than what he's given credit for. Prime example, when he fought Chisora in the rematch, he dropped him multiple times. I think he dropped Chisora maybe 3 times in that fight, maybe even 4 times. And Chisora is a very a real rough and rugged fighter. Fights anybody, anybody you can pretty much name, Chisora has been in the ring with. So that being said, the way that he was able to kind of like control the pace with Chisora, and then, like I said, drop him multiple times, he definitely has the kind of power to where if he lands flush on Fabio Wardley, he could hurt him or maybe stop him. Now, Fabio Wardley, from what I've seen, he has a pretty good chin. We seen him duke it out with when he had 2 fights with Frazier Clark, who's a big puncher and a big guy himself. But I just feel like Joseph Parker is going to have an accumulation of punches, a lot of combinations. He's been working with Andy Lee as his trainer, so he's going to be working more on punch power. You know, he's already a good precision puncher, so his punch placement has never really been in question. But as far as his power and how to deliver that power, I think Andy Lee is going to be that perfect. It's going to be like that hand in that glove, you know, that perfect fit or whatever. And I think that we might see a stoppage, man. A stoppage that some people may not see it, but I think Joseph Parker has it in him, and he has the minerals to stop the younger Fabio Wardley. And then from that point, should he win, hopefully by next year, he'll finally get his just due and get a shot at Oleksandr Usyk, the man sitting at the top of the heavyweight division, who's been beating all the fighters over in Britain. Recently beat Tyson Fury twice, beat Anthony Joshua twice, beat Daniel Dubois twice, beat Chaz Witherspoon, beat Derek Chisora. So Usyk is definitely a throwback fighter as well. So that would be a good style matchup, because Joseph Parker has only had like 2 or 3 losses, and Usyk has no losses, but they both have fought tough opposition. So that's a fight that I would like to see, and I'm hoping 2026 presents that fight for us. Just like I'm hoping 2026 presents Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Finally, I'm hoping that it happens. Now, I feel like on the side of Anthony Joshua, he's passionate, he's hungry again, he's healed up from his elbow injury, and I feel like Anthony Joshua wants that smoke. I feel like he always wanted that smoke with Tyson Fury. Now, I don't feel like Tyson Fury necessarily wanted the smoke with Anthony Joshua, though. And already I'm hearing like certain energy or certain words from the camp, like with Frank Warren and the different interviews and stuff. It just doesn't seem like they're interested, or they're trying to make an excuse to evade Anthony Joshua, the fight that needs to happen. It's like they're trying to convince us we should want to see Tyson Fury versus Usyk for a third time. We didn't want to see Tyson Fury versus Chisora a third time, and we ended up having to watch it. We pretty much knew the outcome of it. We knew Tyson Fury already beat Chisora twice, so we already felt deep down that Tyson Fury is going to beat Chisora again. Well, Usyk has already beat Tyson Fury twice. We feel like Usyk is going to beat Tyson Fury a third time should they fight a third time. I'm tired of seeing recycled opponents for Tyson Fury. It's like he doesn't want to really test himself beyond certain fighters. Like he wants to fight the same guys over and over. And it's like, bro, come on, man. You still got Kabiel out here. You got Zhang out here. You got Daniel Dubois out here. But what we most want to see you fight is Anthony Joshua. But you got all these different options, but you want to call out Usyk again. And it's like, come on, man. Come on. We want to see you fight Anthony Joshua in 2026. Make it happen. I'm not feeling the fact that I heard from Frank Warren that y'all made the statement, and I'm paraphrasing, but something to the fact of we will not sit around and wait on Anthony Joshua. For you to say that you won't sit around and wait for Anthony Joshua, it makes me believe that you're going to do everything you can in your might to not fight Anthony Joshua. That you're going to look and explore every other option out here, whether it's fighting Usyk a third time, whether you fight another opponent like an Otto Wallen or somebody of your past and fight them a second time. It's like whenever you bring up Anthony Joshua, you don't keep the same energy. So we hope that in 2026, it comes to fruition, because if it doesn't happen next year, then it's never going to happen. So that's my take on that part when it comes to Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. the fight that the boxing world needs, but definitely a fight that'll be huge over in the UK. It would be huge if it was at Wembley. I could see it. I could see it selling out. Um, I also want to cover this interview I saw with Lamont Roach Jr. So shout outs to Lamont Roach Jr. We see him quite a bit. We see him quite a bit, man, because he's been in every interview ever since he fought Tank Davis and went to a decision. You see Lamont Roach getting all these different interviews from everybody. He probably got interviews with the same, some of the same people on podcasts. You know, he might have like an interview with, for instance, Brian Custer. He probably has 2 interviews with him. And then if he has an interview with Seconds Out, for instance, he might have 2 interviews with Seconds Out. You know what I mean? He's just like everywhere right now. But I want to talk about the Lamont Roach Jr. sit down with Brian Custer on the Last Stand podcast. All right, y'all. So Lamont Roach Jr., he said he claims Tank Davis, he ain't making much more to fight Jake Paul than he is if he was fighting himself. He basically saying Tank wanted an easy way out, less risk, and that the money disparity is BS. He said he buckled Tank Davis in round 7, and he regrets not stepping on him in the moment. He said Tank is not pillow-fisted, but his power is hyped. He also went on to say Tank breach of contract will be met with an arbitration. He said it's a trickle-down effect, that Tank pulling out of the Roach Jr. fight hurt the whole fight card, so many others were affected as well. So I want to know y'all thoughts on that, on what Lamont Roach has to say in regards to Tank Davis. And since I'm talking about Tank Davis, there's somebody else who has Tank Davis' name in their mouth besides Lamont Roach, and it is none other than Clarissa T-Rex Shields. She was on the podcast with the $1 million worth game, and she was saying that Tank Davis is scary, saying he's a scary dude. He ain't trying to fight Shakur Stevenson, and I think she said Devin Haney and a few other names she put out there. But her bottom line was that she's saying Tank, claiming he's the man, he's the pay-per-view man, he's supposed to be the face of boxing, but he's scary. Now, you can say all that. Now, I just want to put everything in perspective and just lay out my opinion on it. So you can say all this about Tank Davis, right? But then she's kind of like buddy when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. So we don't really hear people trying to nitpick or break down the resume of Shakur Stevenson. We don't see the same energy being put into a person dragging Shakur Stevenson, but she wants to drag Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all feel about that. You know, to me, it's like, keep the same energy. If you can say one thing about one person, then you need to call out everything about everybody else who's not doing something in that same regard. Don't just pick and choose or just like zone in on a certain individual. If you're going to talk about them, talk about the whole landscape of boxing. You need to break down everybody who's not, as Cam J would say, everybody who's not fighting their contemporaries and things of that nature. So let me know in the chat room what you think about that situation there with Clarissa Shields. And since we're talking about Clarissa Shields, let's also talk about Clarissa Shields versus Layla Ali and their beef. Now, Layla just dropped a recent a recent video, and she has receipts. Now what I got from all that I saw with Layla Ali was she took it back to the beginning. She said she had Clarissa Shields on a few platforms that she was on. So she sat down and did interviews with Clarissa Shields. And the feeling I got from it was coming from a good place in regards to Layla Ali, that she was really genuinely trying to speak well on behalf of Clarissa Shields, giving her advice, telling her that big ups on her winning the Olympics, because back in her day, she didn't do the Olympics. Layla Ali didn't. I did see the sit down with the two ladies, with Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali, and Clarissa tells Layla, like, my dad said, Layla, you were a bad girl back in your time. So this is Clarissa's dad telling Clarissa this, and Clarissa relaying it over to Layla Ali. My dad says you was a bad girl in your time, this, that, and the other. So it seemed to be like a good relationship, like a big sister, little sister. Layla's the big sister, Clarissa's the younger sister. And she had her phone number, so she said Clarissa would call her or whatever, ask her for advice, this, that, and the other. Well, at some point, Layla did an interview, I believe, with either with Sway or The Breakfast Club, because she did interviews with both platforms. And in it, she was asked by Sway, but she was asked by Sway after she did, after Clarissa did an interview with Sway first. Then Layla did an interview with Sway. So Sway asked Layla, do you think that Clarissa Shields could beat a prime you? Now, her response is this. Layla says, she's supposed to think that she could beat me, because every fighter is supposed to think that. So Clarissa is supposed to think that she could beat Layla Ali, is what Layla was saying. But she was saying that I'm going to say that she couldn't do it. That's what Layla said. I'm going to say that she couldn't beat me. So then she kind of breaks down the demographic of, she's looking at Clarissa Shields' fights. Not saying she's not skilled enough, but she used a term that she's not talented enough. That she wasn't getting knockouts, whereas Layla was getting knockouts, majority of her opponents. But a lot of critics are saying that Layla Ali's opposition wasn't top opposition, that she fought a smaller Christy Martin who moved up in weight to fight her. She fought the I can't think of her name, but Layla fought the boxer who had beat Ann Wolf at one point. I think she dropped Ann Wolf or stopped Ann Wolf. But that same opponent is the one that Layla Ali ended up beating. And I know I don't like to use a triangle theory, because Layla beat the opponent that beat Ann Wolf doesn't necessarily mean that if Ann Wolf had actually got the chance to fight Layla, or Layla had actually got the chance to fight Ann Wolf, that doesn't mean that Layla beats Ann Wolf based on the fact that she beat the person who beat Ann Wolf. So anyways, there's a chumminess with Clarissa now and Ann Wolf. So Clarissa does a video, whatnot, and she's saying that well, hey, Ann Wolf would have knocked out Layla Ali. Ali never fought Ann Wolf, this, that, and the other. But just prior to that, you're giving her praise on her being that, that big sister to you, that Layla was this to you, but then as soon as you get another chance, now you're downplaying her accolades or whatever. It's like, you got to make up your mind. You can't play it both ways. Like, do you rock with Layla Ali, or is she your op? You know what I'm saying? It's like which one is it? You know what I'm saying? It's like she flip flops so much, and it's like I'm trying to see where she's trying to go, or trying to see her angle. You know what I'm saying? And I really can't. And I'm a fan of Clarissa myself. I'm a fan of her. So there's not a person like me saying I'm not a fan of her, so I'm gonna be very judgmental, or I'm gonna try to be biased or whatever. It's like, nah, I'm a fan of Clarissa Shields. I salute her, and I love what she's doing as far as in the ring with women boxing. But I think on the outside of things, she gets a little messy out here, and I think she just needs to, just chill out. Like let your fist do your talking, because you are nice, you got skills, so keep winning, keep going in the ring. Whenever your next fight is, you keep winning. And just let that speak for itself. But you don't have to necessarily drag another person's name through the mud, or downplay another person or whatever, to try to block they shine to make you rise up. It's like people are going to respect you for what you do regardless. So you don't have to talk about uh, person A or person B. It's like, just do you. That's my feeling on that. And I know this is something that shout outs to Cam J and Jab Queen, something y'all touched on earlier. And y'all did a very, very good job on that breakdown with the Layla Ali versus Clarissa Shields beef or whatever. But it does seem like there is a pattern, and they always say that old cliche, right? Who's the common denominator? Well, most of the times when somebody is saying something left or saying something sideways about somebody, unfortunately, it has been Clarissa Shields. I've never really heard a lot of things about. You don't really see Layla Ali on footage talking about this boxer, or talking about this boxer didn't accomplish this, or I'm this and they ain't this. You know what I mean? You never really hear or feel that energy from Layla Ali. She comes off as being, classy and polished. So hey, take it for what it is. Everybody won't agree with my assessment on that. Shout outs to my guy Sean. We went back and forth on this earlier today. I don't know if you out here listening, bro, but I know you didn't necessarily agree with a lot of what I had to say. You had a different perspective when it came to Clarissa Shields, and you felt like Layla Ali kicked up certain dust, but I just can't see it that way personally. All right, so let's talk about the Riyadh card. It's gonna be a good Riyadh season card, right? You're gonna have Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. Abdullah Mason from Cleveland, Ohio. So I know my guy Marcus, Ohio Runs Boxing. He definitely covers Abdullah Mason pretty heavy, because, like I said, everybody from Ohio, he be on top of it. I want to say Sam Noakes is out of UK or somewhere over in Europe, and I've seen some footage on Sam Noakes. I've heard Shakur Stevenson speak on the name of Sam Noakes, saying that he's a formidable opponent. So I think we're going to get a good fight with these two guys. Now, of course, being Ohio and Abdullah Mason's an Ohio boy as well, of course I'm rooting for Abdullah Mason. I like his style. He's quick. He's efficient. He has power. He's just all around good. Now, I've seen where some people have questioned the chin of Abdullah Mason, because he was dropped before in the fight, but he got back up and won that fight. So I don't look too much into his chin or whatever, because I feel like this is boxing. And shout outs to that old interview Cam J had did with Scooter Davis. He spoke on that too. He was just saying like, hey man, this is boxing, man. You get caught with the right punch at the right time, you might hit that canvas. That's just boxing, y'all. So I don't really look too deep into. Uh, I've never been the one to call Abdullah Mason chinny. That to me, that term gets misconstrued and it gets misused by too many people. It gets used too loosely to call everybody a chinny fighter just because a fighter gets dropped. But on that same Riyadh card, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. That's the fight. I mean, that's gonna be another great fight. I'm just as I'm just as excited to see that as I am Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. So, what do y'all think about Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr.? I would like to know because I feel like Brian Norman Jr. may be getting overlooked. He's a lot more dangerous than I think people are giving him credit for. Hey, salute, Cuzzo, Scoob, salute, Cam J, salute for sure. Jake LaMotta, you said Fabio is the example of a puncher's chance. Yeah, man. I kind of feel like it's going to be kind of like he has that Deontay Wilder factor to where you could be winning every round, but then like in the very last round, round 12, Fabio Wardley could hit you with that one punch, and that one punch, it could be lights out. So all the winning rounds and all the things you did, it all goes down the drain if he catches you with that flush punch that you can't get back up from. I feel like Fabio Wardley definitely has that puncher's chance. Jake LaMotta, you said, I don't know how Joe will respond to the power. I think he's going to respond the same way he did to Zhang. If he gets knocked down, he'll get back up. But I think that if he can, which I think he has it in him, to go for the knockout himself. Just don't be reckless. I think he needs to try to stop Fabio Wardley within the distance because being that Fabio Wardley can be dangerous if they're fighting 12 rounds, for instance. I don't know if it's 10 rounds or 12 rounds, but if they're fighting 12 rounds, he's going to be dangerous all 12 rounds because he has that puncher's chance. So I think when you fight a puncher like him, if it's something that you can do, you need to try to stop him. So you need to try to stop the threat before the threat stops you, basically. You said Anthony versus Bacoli. Okay, AJ versus Martin Bacoli. Jake LaMotta, you said, dude, Fury is over the hill. He has nothing else to prove after that prime Wilder devastation. Well, I will have to somewhat object with that, man. Fury he's got enough in him to fight AJ. I mean, look at it for what it is. Tyson Fury's been knocked down, but every time he's got back up, right? AJ has been knocked out cold by Daniel Dubois. AJ was stopped by Andy Ruiz. So to me, AJ probably took worser from his fights than Tyson did. In my opinion, if you look at it from that aspect, because Tyson's never been knocked out. AJ's been technical knockout and been knocked out. So I don't see why that fight couldn't happen. You know what I mean? And Wilder to me he was always dangerous, but he was never what I would consider an elite fighter. He had power, and because he was blessed with God-gifted power, it got him out of trouble all the time. But just imagine if Wilder had mediocre or just average punch power. You wouldn't even be talking about him right now. Wilder's only been talked about because he has that extreme supernatural power in his right hand. Cam J, you said, I'm tired of him crying. Get over it. Focus on Pitbull. Yeah. Lamont Roach, man, he's definitely milking the fact that he was able to go um, all rounds with Tank Davis and go to a decision, whereas most people get knocked out by Tank. He was a survivor, so now he's just all over the place right now. Any interview he can get, any social media outlet, you're gonna see Lamont Roach Jr. That's for sure, man. Um, so yeah, man. Also on that same Riyadh card as Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes and Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr., we have David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. That's gonna be another great fight. That whole card gonna be pretty nice, y'all. It's gonna be a lit card. Now, David Benavidez, I feel like he's going to nick it. He's gonna win, in my opinion. But I feel like the early rounds, Anthony Yarde's gonna come. He's gonna come full throttle. But I think it would be in the best interest of Anthony Yarde to not go for an early knockout because he don't want to punch himself out. He wants to put go to the body of David Benavidez and try to slowly break him down, but I don't think he wants to throw and just empty his gas tank in a few rounds. Because if he gets tired, the mid rounds, if it is to go that long, from the mid rounds to the championship rounds, David Benavidez is going to turn all the way up. He's going to turn all the way up. And that's going to be very, very dangerous for Anthony Yarde if he starts to get fatigue. And if David Benavidez starts to see signs of fatigue, it's going to be problems. It's going to be problems for sure. Now something that was kind of crazy that I would have to say is insane, right? Is a statement by Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher, he says, I will be the first to stop Oleksandr Usyk. I just got to shake my head at this one, y'all. And I will repeat that because you heard it right. Johnny Fisher says, I will be the first to stop Oleksandr Usyk. Now, what has Johnny Fisher done to where you could even think that he can stop Usyk? So you mean to tell me Tyson Fury couldn't stop Usyk? And Daniel Dubois couldn't stop Usyk? Anthony Joshua and Derek Chisora could not stop Usyk. But Johnny Fisher will be the one to stop Usyk? Oh man. That's just insane. That is absolutely what is Tyson Fury's word? That's just redundant. You know? But that's just crazy, man. Now, Johnny Fisher fought Alan Babbitt, which he's just like a lower tier fighter or mediocre fighter. And then you fought Dave Allen twice. And Dave Allen just lost to Magmadov last weekend. But then you lost in the rematch, Fisher. I want to say it was a TKO. And Dave Allen stops you. But then you want to claim you're going to stop Usyk. Usyk, who's the undisputed, the two-time undisputed. Come on, man. That don't even make sense. Ain't no way that Fisher can do anything when it comes to Usyk. Now, shout outs to my dude Sean again. My dude Sean Blackwell, y'all. This is another thing I want to put out there that he said. I want to know y'all opinion. Sean felt that Jermall Charlo could go up to 175 and beat Bivol and beat David Benavidez. So I want to know your opinion. Could you see Jermall Charlo going from 168 to 175 and beating Dimitri Bivol and also beating David Benavidez? Now, I'm not saying Charlo would duck any smoke, but for sure, we know that he's not. They don't be that active. You know, they're fighting every now and then. They're not fighting every couple months or every 6 months. You know, twice a year. The Charlos, they pop up and fight a fight here and there. And even though Charlo is solid as far as he got some skills, Jermall got a good chin, as my dude was saying. My dude Sean said. He does got a good chin. But beating David Benavidez and Bivol, man, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, y'all. But I would like to know y'all opinion. In the chat, y'all. Just let me know down there in the chat on what y'all think. And also, man, shout out to the magazine, man. Shout outs to In Your Face magazine for sure. You know, shout out to Trill, Kev, and everybody on the committee for In Your Face magazine. Now what do y'all think about Erickson Lubin versus Virgil Ortiz? Because I feel like people are looking at Erickson Lubin like he just gonna lay down. And I can't see that. Erickson Lubin ain't no lay down type person. Did Erickson Lubin lay down when he fought Sebastian Fundora? No, he did not. He fought him and he went toe to toe. I want to say he dropped Sebastian Fundora first before he, got dropped and stuff like that. But Erickson Lubin, he's always game. He's always game when he's out there. Now, Virgil Ortiz, of course, he's no pushover as well. So that to me is going to be a perfect style matchup. And there's a lot of confidence when I see Erickson Lubin on these different interviews. He realizes what's at stake. He realizes Virgil Ortiz is no easy feat by no stretch, but he's very confident in himself, and I got to respect that about Erickson Lubin, y'all. I got to put respect on his name. I don't think I know anybody else in life with the name Erickson Lubin, but it's a different name. But hey, it's all good. Scoob, cuz you said not in 100 years. Buddy crazy. Are you referring to Jermall Charlo coming to 175 to beat Bivol and David Benavidez? Is that what you talking about, cuzzo? Because I personally couldn't see it either. Not that Charlo's no pushover, but I feel like David Benavidez is going to be too much. And I definitely feel like Bivol is just too talented and skilled. Like, light on his feet, the way he maneuvers, his ring IQ, up here in his mind, his generalship. Like, Bivol is just a very slick, calculated fighter. And I know, Man, nah, I just can't see it, man. I can't see it. I personally can't see it. Let me see. So, Cuzzo, did you see that the Danny Garcia fight last night? Yeah, I mean it would be a great fight to see. Yeah, it would for sure. It definitely would. So before let me see. Before I close this live stream out, was anybody have anything to say before we close it down for the night? And I want to thank Jake LaMotta. I don't think I've ever talked to you on the chat, but I appreciate you stopping by, man. Hopefully you stop through again next Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the USA. I love doing this boxing talk, and I appreciate you giving your opinion. Because next week I'm gonna talk more about the future of Usyk and things like that, and we're gonna recap the Parker versus Wardley fight next Sunday. Yes, sir. Absolutely, Cuzzo. Absolutely. All right, y'all. So I appreciate everybody stopping through. Um, Remember, we got the link in the description area. You got the another link, a new link we got where you can make donations to help the channel. Um, and don't forget, we got the clothing line. That's all in that link tree or whatever. We got the clothing line. So the hat right here, like I got, we got these in various colors. I got this one. I got a blue one. I got the orange shirt, a hunter green shirt, and a blue shirt. So we got the pink shirts for the ladies. They got the hoodies in the pink and all that, y'all. So just about any color you could want, we got them. Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. And like I say, shout outs to P3 on his victory last night. Shout outs to Stefan Pryor, aka Champ Pryor. Shout outs to Aaron Pryor Jr. I'm gonna try to make that event tomorrow night um, for your dad, for the late great Aaron Pryor Sr. Um, Shout outs to Antoine Pryor as well, down south. Shout outs to Antoine Pryor. All right, y'all. So we're gonna wrap this one up, man. So make sure y'all hit that thumbs up before y'all leave. If you're in this chat room, hit that thumbs up. Tell a friend or three to make sure that they come and hit subscribe here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. And I thank you for all your support. And I'll see y'all next week. And we'll catch you on the next round. Peace.